Hi everyone, this is my third attempt now at this. Seem to have lost my first two. So hopefully I'll remember everything I said the first two times. I think what makes this a case of adaptive leader, or makes this an adaptive leadership challenge rather, is that you have two pretty powerful constituents sort of in direct conflict with each other. And obviously emotions are high on both sides. Parents obviously are valuable stakeholders in any school, as are teachers. So I sort of see that whenever those two groups are in direct and emotional conflict with each other, that it definitely is a challenge for adaptive leadership, because there isn't going to be an answer that makes everybody happy or content. Um, and while both might have valid points, there's no way to solve the problem that will satisfy everybody. Um, so I think the major players are obviously the parents, the teachers, the principal, and the superintendent, because she actually, she will make probably in the end it'll come to her. She'll be the final person. And I definitely sympathize with this principal as a dean of students at boarding school. Um, there's literally no decisions I make that do not require adaptive leadership. There is almost never a clear-cut answer in cases of discipline or things like that. So this is actually a really interesting module for me. I think what I would say to the principal is that she needed to try to think about the historical mission of the school, which was to create excellence, right, and to prepare students for college. And also to think about whether the parents' extenuating circumstances were valid. Doesn't specify what those were, other than that one of the students had a job. But because this is a school with a diverse demographic, it doesn't say that the majority of students are Caucasian and wealthy, or, it seems like it's pretty much 50-50 between minorities and Caucasian, and it sounds as if students come from all over the city to go to this school, that it's not necessarily just a local school, that they pull from different areas. So I would imagine that the population is pretty diverse. So I think I would encourage the principal to, try and take out the parental emotion from it, and decide really like what standards she needed to uphold as principal, and what message she needed to send to the school community as a whole. I think the principal should choose to uphold the standards of the school. The reason I say this is, like I said, because it is a diverse population. These boys are not the only boys who are African American. I don't think they're the only boys who maybe come from a low socioeconomic area. They obviously have very educated parents, for the most part, so it's not as if they're coming from homes where there's no support. So I guess I see them on fairly equal standing with the rest of the students at this school, probably. Um, so I think that, the best thing to do is to hold them accountable um, for not doing what they were supposed to do, the things that every other student who's ever gone to school at this school has done. Um, and, I think that that decision sort of involves equity and excellence, in that, when I think of equity, I think of equal opportunity, and then support to help students take advantage of that equal opportunity. In this case, it sounds like that support was given, to the extent that they were given an extra 2 weeks to work on their projects and submit them, and they still weren't able to complete them in a satisfactory way. Um, from the case study, it implies that these three students don't work well together. They seem to distract each other at times. The friendship is not always a positive, but that really is not the school's job to separate them outside of school when they're working on this project. Um, so I think, and I don't know if this is the right thing to say. I feel like it's not, as a white educator, but I feel like there's a difference between trying to create equity and enabling students. And I think in this case, to allow these students to be excused from this requirement would be enabling them. And it would not be good for them or good for the school community as a whole. So I would say that they should use the summer time to complete their project and graduate at the end of the summer with the summer school class and then go on to college as planned. I'm not sure if that's the right decision, but my first instinct is that that's what the principal should do.